I want to be clear, this bull market fundamentals don't really matter. Today we're going to be talking about Cardano and exactly what's happening with the price, why it is trading level, and what to expect with Cardano. Now, I'm really shocked and surprised at some of the comments that I've seen about people exiting Cardano for other projects. And by all means, not a financial advisor. I'm not going to give you financial advice. Do you? And be happy with your decision. Whatever it is, if you lose money, it's okay. As long as you're happy with what you've done, that is ultimately what it comes down to. But the reality is, I would argue that if you're selling now, it's really frivolous. Why you would sell at $1.10, at $1.10, $1.11. Now, I would suspect that most people that are panicking right now about the Cardano price likely bought in at the upper amounts, the higher amounts. Just to put this in perspective, and we're going to hear from Charles Hoskinson because I think he says it the exact best. But to put this in perspective, right now we're in such a speculative time. We don't have the framework of DeFi and everything else. We're still waiting for the Alonzo update, which is bringing smart contracts. We're still waiting for a number of different updates coming through for the Cardano system to really boost everything up. Now, the story is the same. I'm equally as a Polkadot bull as I am Cardano, and the story is the same. Polkadot hasn't really broken away from the 34 to 37 range. So realistically, how concerned should we be here? Not very. At the end of the day, Cardano is sitting at around $1.10, and we should be happy because just a couple of months ago it was at 80 cents, and before that it was at 40, and then 11, and then 2, right? So it's about ROI and how far can we go. Now, we've also talked about the market caps of both Polkadot and Cardano, and you can see both of them haven't moved. Now, a lot of people are seeing this Ethereum jump, and that is what we're talking about. And that, I think, is why most of the emotion is coming out. I think a lot of people are seeing Ethereum getting back to its all-time high and then thinking, well, I'm missing out because I went into Cardano. And let me be clear. I've said numerous times on this channel, Ethereum can hit 10K. Will it? I don't know. My bet is more in the $5,000 range. But it is extremely undervalued for where it can go. So of course Ethereum is going to pump. It's the exact same thing that I say about XRP. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. Eventually it has to go up. And we know that there's a bunch of bullish updates coming for Ethereum. And Ethereum often moves faster than Cardano. Why is that? Because most of Cardano's updates are peer reviewed and making sure that we maintain the integrity and the stability of the system. Before we look at Charles's perspective here, go ahead and like the video. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you like this content and other crypto news content. I don't only talk about Cardano, but we talk about the cryptocurrency market in general. Now let's hear a little bit from Charles and see what he has to say.
So today is one of those red days. And from time to time, I do make videos when there are red days and people are panicking and there's blood in the streets and hope seems to be gone. Oh my, what are we to do? What are we to do? The fundamentals have changed because day traders are moving in a particular direction, or we haven't gotten something to satiate our appetite for news or progress this week. Oh my, the fundamentals must be broken. The project must be dead. Rats off the ship. It's sinking. You know, ours is a movement that is measured in years and decades, and it's a philosophy. It's a lifestyle. It's a belief that we can change things. It's a belief that we can change the way the world works, and that together, working together, hundreds of thousands, eventually millions, eventually tens of millions, eventually hundreds of millions of people from different backgrounds, different philosophies, religions, genders, ages, cultures, will come together and say that the world ought to work a little differently. Our industry as a whole go through many cycles. I've seen it be in desperate times. I've seen it so fragile that a slight change in hash rate or collapse of a particular marketplace and the dream would have been snuffed out, like someone blowing out a candle. And I've seen it with irrational exuberance and strong and powerful and billions of dollars flowing in from people covered in avarice and greed not really understanding what they're buying or why they're buying it, because they desire to have a grand and great lifestyle.
I think this part is important because a lot of people are like this in terms of, I just want the money, I just want the profit. And I do understand that sentiment. I really do. Of course, I got into crypto because I just wanted to increase my wealth and have more money, of course. But, maybe it's cliche, but I really did just fall in love with the tech, and I understand exactly how life-changing this technology can be. And I do know the incredible strides that Cardano and Charles has taken to make sure that Cardano is the one to meet that need, to be able to be more focused at the individual. But he goes into it a little bit further. So let's listen in.
Does money really matter when the very definition of it is up for grabs? We are so close as an industry to a fundamental change in the way that people perceive everything about society. The legitimacy of votes, how to own property, are in a Cambrian explosion and extinction of experimentation, quite Darwinian, and each and every one of you is on the train, and you're on the boat. Maybe you didn't realize that. Maybe you were here to get rich. Maybe you were here just because it's a protest. Who knows? I don't know your heart or your motivation. All I can do is speak for myself and also my understanding of the technology and where does it go. The deals come. The birds will land. If not now, then later. And I'm patient. And I'm backed by so many people who are as well, who have a fanatical loyalty to the concept that we will get where we need to go. And we'll get there with principles, character, and a belief that each and every one of us matters, leaving no one behind. That's where we're at. That's why I never worry. That's why I say take a chill pill. Nothing rises forever. Nothing collapses forever. There will always be ebbs and flows and balances, just like I told everybody last year when we stared at a pandemic and there was panic and everything was falling apart and people believing that society as a whole would come collapsing down and stockpiling food and ammunition and toilet paper, as if somehow that rare commodity would disappear in just a matter of a few precious weeks. I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to work just as hard as I did today. But I'll probably wake up at the same time. Gonna work out. Gonna meditate. Answer my emails. Gonna talk to the developers. Look at what's upcoming next week. Negotiate some deals that are still in the queue. Check the status of deals that have already closed and we're servicing. We're gonna have a call about Alonzo, the hard fork, which will bring smart contracts. Continue working at partnerships, continue talking to governments. Nothing changes.
So we can obviously see there's still things happening in the background. And this is what I meant. In earlier times of Cardano, it was often criticized for having slow updates. And that's mainly because of the rigorous process to make sure every update is beneficial for the system. So a lot is still happening in the background. We still have Alonzo, like I've said, and there's obviously a lot of partnerships being worked out in the background to make sure that Cardano is a thriving system in the future. And personally, I'm not really concerned with short-term price action, especially before Cardano DeFi isn't out. At this point, I just see the low prices as a sale, and you can look at it however you want. But I am investing in the tech, of course, but I am also looking at taking profits. I'm not naive in that fact. So I will absolutely take profits from Cardano. That's without a doubt. And I still believe a massive increase for Cardano is still within the cards. Now, I talked about how long this crypto bull market could go. So go ahead and check out that video up at the top. But I discuss exactly how long I think this crypto market can go. And really, out of that time, we still have plenty of time. So anyone stressing this right now, they shouldn't be.
I look to the future. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And let me tell you what we as a species are staring at for a moment. We are looking at deep fakes so persuasive, you will no longer be able to determine fact and fiction. You'll see videos with perfect representations of people you used to know, love, and trust doing deplorable things. We will see AI so advanced that Chatbots can pass the Turing test and fool you into believing they're real people and deployed for nefarious purposes, economic purposes. And you think catfishing is bad now? Imagine that future of deep fakes and AI. That's just one dimension. We see CRISPR coming down the pipe that will fundamentally change the way that genetics work for us all. Synthetic biology, designer organisms, engineering at scales and levels we couldn't imagine. You think these pandemics are bad now? Imagine what happens when they can be engineered in ways that would take the worst of all things and put them together and spread them 10 times as fast. That's coming, amongst many, many, many other things, such as social credit. More than 1 billion people live in a reality where it's government policy for their neighbor to spy upon them. It's government policy for each and every person to get a number stamped on their head. Their freedom of travel, their economic freedom, their ability to interact in society, the schools they go to are completely dependent upon those numbers. How they're determined, the people who give them out don't even know, because they're driven by machines more than people, unless you go against the agenda. That will spread. It'll work its way throughout Asia. It'll work its way throughout the Middle East, Europe, Africa, South America, and right here at home in America. If not by a government, then by a private industry. That and dozens of other existential issues await all of us in the next 20 to 30 to 40 years. Not to mention the environmental catastrophes. Not to mention the wars that will come as America and China flirt with the Thucydides trap.
Now, I don't think Charles is talking hyperbole here. We already see social credit actions happening in China. We know that this is happening. We know that globally this is where we're going. Arguably, the global events that have happened recently, the stuff that you really can't talk about on YouTube, this has all edged us closer and closer to a very, very Orwellian future. And we need a blockchain that is secure, researched, and developed directly for the people rather than these private entities or governments. That's ultimately what this is all about. That was Satoshi's vision after all. It was never to make sure that we could all be tracked in our finances and everything is constantly under government control. It was more the libertarian aspect. Now, I'm not a libertarian, and I'm also not going to discuss politics here. But I will say, I, for one, am living in 2040, not in 2021. When I invest in something like Cardano, I'm not thinking about what it can do in the next year to 2 years. I'm thinking about what it can do in the next 10 to 15 years and how it can radically change people's lives. And I also look at that with other blockchains. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to take profits. I'm going to take profits, but it does mean on some projects, I'm going to hold a little bit more left over and probably take a little less profit, especially if I know that I can build a yield off of it later on. In terms of Cardano, I can definitely build a yield with Cardano DeFi. Same thing with Polkadot. I will take profits this bull market, but I will probably have a healthy amount still left over to participate in yield farming. And I'm not a greedy individual. I just want enough to live comfortably. So I'm not even in it to make the money in 15 years. Although that is a benefit. It's a benefit of owning a portion of a system like Cardano or like Ethereum or like Bitcoin. At the end of the day, cryptocurrency itself is going to be life-changing. And Cardano is going to be a huge part in that. If you look at the charts, if you really look at the charts, every time we've had a giant leap up, we've had dips or trading sideways for a little bit. And you can see here, we jump up and then drop right back down to 58 cents and then go back up. And it's the exact same thing. We always leapfrog. But the one thing about Cardano is it's held even amongst the most vicious Bitcoin dumps. Cardano has held. When the crypto market was bleeding, Cardano held above $1.10. So to think right now that Cardano is doing nothing is absurd. It maybe has been doing nothing over the last little while after a massive increase. That's the thing. You have to put that in perspective. A lot of money has already moved into Cardano. Cardano smart contracts aren't even out yet, and the DeFi systems aren't out in play. It's all going to happen. It is, but you have to be patient. I wouldn't be rolling profits into any other project, but I hold. I don't trade. I do leverage trade at times on Binance, but other than that, I don't really swing trade my cryptocurrency, at least not my HODL bag. I'll sometimes have a spot wallet that'll swap between just to ride little pumps here and there, but at the end of the day, my HODL bag is my HODL bag. I have it planned out and I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. If Cardano goes to $5, that's still a good profit for me, and I'm still very happy, and I will happily take at least 60% off the table if that is the case, if that's where we end this bull market. But of course, you guys know that I'm expecting a lot more from Cardano. I know it's going to do well. We just need to be patient and let these updates come. And you got to remember too, when Bitcoin and Ethereum are pushing at all-time highs and keep pushing ahead, there's not much new money to go back into Cardano and other projects. So give it some time, let Bitcoin and Ethereum chill out for a little bit, and then we will see a lot of altcoins fly. I really hope that you guys aren't selling your Cardano for other projects. It is a good way to double your money, sure, but I wouldn't be making any big decisions with your HODL bag. If you ever want to do small trades like that, I'd recommend just putting aside maybe 1 to 5% of your portfolio and just swing trading with that. If that's what you want to do to make you feel happy, do that. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a situation where you sell your entire bag of Cardano and then all of a sudden Cardano just blasts off, and you don't want to be in that situation. So you do got to be careful and you're not just riding the pumps. That's it for me, everybody. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope this gave you a good perspective on Cardano and what to expect for the future. And also, you know, we all love Charles and we all love to hear his input. So I figured we'd hear from that and get that perspective. All right, everybody, happy hodling.